Jai Gurudev Bela, you have to unmute yourself if you've already started. Jai Gurudev. Om. 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 Om.
गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। अष्टादशोऽध्यायः मोक्षसंन्यासयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच सर्वभूतेषु येनैकं भावमव्ययमीक्षते अविभक्तं विभक्तेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि सात्विकम्। पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ञानं नानाभावान् पृथग्विधान् वेत्ति सर्वेषु भूतेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसम्। यत्तु कृत्स्नवदेकस्मिन् कार्ये सक्तमहैतुकम् अतत्त्वार्थवदल्पं च तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् नियतं सङ्गरहितं मरागद्वेषतः कृतम् अफलप्रेप्सुना कर्म यत्तत् सात्विकमुच्यते। यत्तु कामेप्सुना कर्म साहङ्कारेण वा पुनः क्रियते बहुलायासं तद्राजसमुदाहृतम् अनुबन्धं क्षयं हिंसाम् अनपेक्ष्य च पौरुषम् मोहादारभ्यते कर्म यत्तत्तामसमुच्यते। मुक्तसङ्गोऽहं वादी धृत्युत्साहसमन्वितः सिद्ध्यसिद्ध्यो निर्विकारः कर्ता सात्विक उच्यते। रागी कर्मफलप्रेप्सुः लुब्धो हिंसात्मको शुचिः हर्षशोकान्वितः कर्ता राजसः परिकीर्तितः। अयुक्तः प्राकृतस्तब्धः शठो नैष्कृतिकोलसः विषादी दीर्घसूत्री च कर्ता तामस उच्यते। बुद्धेर्भेदं धृतेश्चैव गुणतस्त्रिविधं शृणु प्रोच्यमानमशेषेण पृथक्त्वेन धनञ्जय प्रवृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च कार्याकार्ये भयाभये बन्धं मोक्षं च या वेत्ति बुद्धि सा पार्थ सात्विकी यया धर्ममधर्मं च कार्यं चाकार्यमेव च अयथावत् प्रजानाति बुद्धि सा पार्थ राजसी अधर्मं धर्ममिति या मन्यते तमसावृता सर्वार्थान् विपरीतांश बुद्धि सा पार्थ तामसी धृत्या यया धारयते मनः प्राणेन्द्रियक्रियाः योगेनाव्यभिचारिण्या धृति सा पार्थ सात्विकी यया तु धर्मकामार्थान् धृत्या धारयतेऽर्जुन प्रसङ्गेन फलाकाङ्क्षी धृति सा पार्थ राजसी यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधा धृति सा पार्थ तामसी सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधम् सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ अभ्यासाद्रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति यतदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम् तत्सत् सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु So we were looking at the Satviki. I think we finished 33, right? Kindly guide me. Is it 34? Rajasi Dhriti we were seeing yesterday, right? Should I repeat, Brahmaraji? Rajasi?
Yesterday she told, no? Yesterday she told we should
Yes,
go.
Villa, what we'll do is maybe you just read the meaning of the Satviki and then come to Rajasi. You can read the whole of Rajasi and then we'll continue. I think we repeated the Tamasi twice yesterday.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. Okay, no problem.
So just the meaning of the Satviki, so we have the full.
Correct. Yeah. So Satviki Dhriti, the unflinching resolve with which one sustains by practice activities of the mind, prana, and organs of action and knowledge, that resolve is Satviki. So, avyabhicharinya dhritya manah prana indriya kriyah yogena dharayate. Sa dhritihi satviki. And Rajasi, to make the difference between the Satviki and the Rajasi Dhriti clear, Bhagwan begins the verse, the next verse. Yaya tu dharma kamarthan dhritya dharayate Arjuna prasangena phalakankshi dhriti sa partha rajasi. Whereas Arjuna, the resolve with which the one who has a longing for result according to the prevailing circumstances sustains activities for religious merit, pleasure, and security, that resolve is Rajasi. So, Rajasa resolve. This is the resolve with which one sustains, that is, engages in activities of the mind, senses, and the body that are meant for dharma, artha, and kama. Dharma means punya here, religious merit. Here we are discussing a person who spends his time planning how to get more punya and how to get it more easily. Why? So that he will get better security, artha, and pleasure, kama later. He plans and schemes and does all the necessary activities because of a certain resolve, paying attention to dharma only for the sake of artha or kama, not moksha. Then again, he is desirous of gaining a result, phalankankshi, whenever there is an occasion. As the occasion arises, he becomes desirous of the result involved. That is, he tries to convert every opportunity into something beneficial to himself. And the benefit here is not antahkarana shuddhi, not moksha, but dharma, artha, and kama. He exploits every opportunity to serve his own ends. Thus, he is an opportunist. He does not miss an opportunity to acquire dharma, artha, and kama. Because of his very sustained resolve, dhriti. Without that, he will miss some opportunities. But while others are missing out, he has a vulture's eye on how he can benefit from a situation. A vulture's eyes are always on the ground below, looking for something dead, no matter how high it soars. Flying so high, it looks unconcerned, as though it does not care what is happening down on the earth. But then you will find that suddenly it zooms down. As soon as there is a dead carcass anywhere, because its eyes are always looking for that. Similarly, this person also has eyes like those of a vulture, looking for opportunities to make a kill. According to the conducive situation, prasangena, he is a desirer of a result, of phalankankshi, and the sustained, unflinching resolve that makes him an opportunist, always thinking about dharma, artha, and kama, is called Rajasi because it is born of Rajas. As it was already said, the dharma here is religious merit for more security and pleasure. So that
Excuse me,
is
Jai Gurudev. Means he is not a mumukshu. He is just materialistic for security and pleasure. Yeah, he has a rajasic or rajasic dhriti, no?
correct,
Because
very
only
correct,
four is dharma, artha, and kama. There is no moksha here said, no?
correct,
For the
very true. Yeah, he is desirous of only dharma, artha, kama. There is no moksha desire, and there is no even desire for antakarana shuddhi. He is clearly an opportunist. He is waiting for the opportunity only to benefit for that also for himself.
correct, correct. Thank
So we have to remember he is phalankankshi. He is more focused on the result. And prasangena, occasionally he is waiting for that opportunity to utilize for his dharma, artha, and kama, for the pleasure which he is seeking for right now or for later. Now, the third type of resolve, the tamasi dhriti, is being told. यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधा धृति सा पार्थ तामसी. Partha, O Arjuna, Durmedha, the one whose thinking is improper. Yaya Dhritya, by which resolve, Swapnam, sleep, Bhayam, fear, Shokam, sorrow, Vishadam, depression, Madam evacha, and intoxication. Na vimunchati, he does not give up. Sadhritihi, that dhriti, tamasi, tamasi. Partha, durmedha, yaya dhritya, swapnam, शोकम क्षमता पार्थ दुर्मेधा यया धृत्या स्वप्नम भयम शोकम विषादम मदम एव च न विमुञ्चति सा धृतिः तामसी. That resolve by which the one whose thinking is improper does not give up sleep, fear, sorrow, depression, and intoxication is tamasi, Arjuna. I repeat, that resolve by which the one whose thinking is improper does not give up sleep, fear, sorrow, depression, and intoxication is tamasi, Arjuna. Tamasa resolve. Here is another person who also has dhriti, a very well committed resolve, but it is because he does not give up na vimunchati certain things. If he does not give up these things, even though you try to make him a little different, his dhriti must be very firm. He has some kind of commitment that does not allow him to give them up. For example, no matter what happens, he will not give up his sleep. Swapna. It is very important for him. It is interesting that Krishna uses the word swapna here, which can mean dream as well as sleep. From this, we can understand that not only does he sleep too much, when he is awake, he spends his time daydreaming. If he does not sleep, he daydreams, and thus we say he does not give up swapna. We saw in the 6th chapter that there is no yoga for the one who sleeps too much. And it is yoga that destroys dukkha, pain, or sorrow. But for this person under discussion who has tamasi dhriti, there can be no yoga. Because when he is awake, he always has fear, bhaya of one thing or the other. Fear of death, naturally, and fear of losing money and the other resources. He cannot give up this fear because he will not do anything to get rid of it. You must do something to give up fear. And for that, a certain type of resolve is required, which he does not have. As long as he does not address the problem, the fear does not go. For the same reason, he cannot give up sadness, shoka. He will not do anything to address his sadness. And if you talk to him for 2 minutes, he will make you also sad. He has such an infectious sadness that anybody coming anywhere around him becomes sad. Not only will he not give up this sadness, he will have some philosophy to justify it also. Besides shoka, tangible sorrow, he cannot give up his depression, vishada, which generally pervades his entire daily activity. He is like someone who is under the spell of intoxication, mada, always pursuing simple gratification of the sense organs, because that is the only thing which can keep him in good humor. At the same time, he will not listen to anybody, otherwise, he would change.
Can
So
you
when we
please
contrast,
uh, this
when we contrast the Satviki, Rajasi, and Tamasi dhritis, the Satviki does niyata karma. Whatever is to be done, he does it. He is aphala prepsuna. He does not. His intention eyes are not on the result. All he wants is only antakarna shuddhi. The Rajasi does it for some result. He's phala prepsuna. He's an opportunist. He wants something which is dharma, artha, or kama. Whereas the tamasi dhriti and the rajasic person will go to any extent to get it done. Whereas the tamasi dhriti is one who is just indulging in his own senses. In the sense, he does not want to lose his sleep. He is not even keen on getting some result. He's enclosed in his own world, and in that world he is rid with a lot of fear, delusion, of vishada, of misery, but he does not want to come out of it. Even that effort to come out is not. He will not even listen to others if they want to tell him, listen, do this. So that is the tamas. He's completely under that spell of delusion, total ignorance. Whereas the rajasic is at least doing some activity for some result. Whereas the satviki, he just does it out of joy, and he's doing it because it has to be done. And he has a say on his control. He has a control over his mind, body, senses. The satviki. Complete opposite is the tamasi, who is a slave to his senses.
Hariom. So how do like the tamasic person, how will it's written, you must do something to give up fear, and for that a certain resolve is required, which he does not have. So how then will he come out of that tamas? As long as he does not address the problem, the fear does not go. So how will he develop that sattvic buddhi so that he is able to resolve his problem? How one was that he can be asked for, like he can move into sports or some activity, but
I
still
think in the paragraph it is said in the chapter 6, yoga is not for who is deluded or whose mind is not, antakaran shuddhi is not there, and he has to resolve. Only then he will come out. It is written there somewhere. Can we read that again?
Yeah,
Chapter
this is
6.
the first line here. We saw in
It
the
is
chapter, sixth chapter,
Yeah, it is
Very-
mentioned here. We in page number 242, we saw in the 6th chapter that there is no yoga for the one who sleeps too much, because he if he is not able to get up out of he is not coming out of his sleep, how can he do yoga? But initially we read that for a tamasic person, he should be like he should be coaxed to do some sport so that he comes out. But I was just thinking, like, how a tamasic person, it must be so difficult to pull that person out of that tamas. Uh, he doesn't have that mindset so that he can take a resolve and uh, until unless that grace is there. So it's very difficult to take a person out of tamas.
So he has to reach to Guru, surrender.
But he cannot reach to Guru. He doesn't have
He-
that.
No, but that grace will come anytime, He has to be open his mind. Slowly it comes. He has to.
He doesn't
Take.
have the concept of Guru, I think.
No, no, no. He
His
has to
mind is
wash
not
out
of that
his.
type that he would seek a Guru. I don't
No,
think so. A
he has
tamasic
to.
person.
No, he has to go through the karma, wash it out. He may not in this Jarma only, the next Jarma, like that. He will come. Sometime he will come out of it.
I
It is
think
a
here is
process.
this is
It
the
is a
important,
process.
this is the importance of reaching out and persuading people to join courses, happiness, sahaj, whatever. We're getting them out of the tamas, sowing the seeds. Hey, this is what you can do. Opening up their, even an intro talk, for instance, that I think is the most important thing, where we're opening up some realities to the truth to these people, to whoever it is there attending the intro talk, and giving them an opportunity um, to experience something higher. So coming to an intro talk, that maybe it is some adrishta phala somewhere that they have done that may bring them on to the thing. A person cannot be completely tamasic, right? I mean, there may be some people like that, but the punya papa karmas that they have done over their lifetimes, some adrishta phala somewhere, that little grace might open them. They might just see a flyer, or they may just see some yoga session, and something might trigger. That could be the trigger point for them. But they have to do something to come out of it. In fact, I think this is appropriate here. I am not into politics and all. I don't want to politicize the whole thing. But Swami Mitrananda from the Chinmaya Mission has shared a few insights about why the results were what they are right now. And he has specifically mentioned Hindus are in deep tamas right now in India in general. He said we need to wake them up. And the only way we can do this is by uh, spiritual organizations will have to do this through schools, through teachings right from the beginning. I will share what he has written in the group later, but this is what it is. So therefore, we are told, when you're meeting people, don't just gossip, share knowledge. You never know what will trigger what in whom. How many are there still in tamas or rajas? Not that we are not. We are also in that. We are different shades of tamas, rajas, and sattva. So when we're doing this, then that true sangachadvam happens. We're moving together. I used to wonder, how come, why are we bothering about other people? This journey of mumukshutvam is a journey, is a self journey, is a self rediscovery. Why are we even involving and getting other people on across? It struck me that yes, you will have to awaken, take them along. I think
Yeah, it is
that's
said
why
so. No?
he's
Single moksha is not it's not done like a single person gets moksha. It's not sufficient. It's the whole sangha. If is we are helping each one to achieve that moksha, that awareness, then only that society would improve. Otherwise, everyone will selfishly be always thinking of himself only. That I have to get moksha. You are not connected. You are not bothered about the society or the people around. So it is, I think, you rightly said that we have to take effort in our surroundings also, and as much as we can, so that maybe some seeker is there in between the people. Yeah.
Yeah, so true. It becomes as a responsibility. That's what I have seen when I'm teaching small kids Sanskrit Bharati. It is like a rule. We are obliged to do, we have to do it, taking it as a responsibility. When I'm dealing with children, I mean, they are so filled with questions and anxieties. And I mean, it is so important to make them aware about the food they eat, about their surrounding, about the kind of books they read, about the kind of games they play, the kind of environment they are dealing with, the friends they have. It is our responsibility. It is, we think that it is only parents responsibility, but I believe that when we are dealing with these all spiritual organizations, each one has to take that responsibility, whether it is through any organization or individually also. I believe we can take that responsibility and we can teach whoever comes into our contact.
Yeah,
And
very
this
rightly said.
talking, the Gayatri mantra is considered the greatest mantra because it talks of collective upliftment. Dhiyo yona pracho. It's not a singular prayer. It is not me. It is dhiyo yona prachodayat. May the light of knowledge light up in all our intent, all our intellects. It's a collective prayer. Gurudev has said that several times. He said the greatest mantra, the most impactful mantra is the Gayatri mantra. So that talks of collective, and even loka samasta sukhino bhavan. So many of our mantras have this collectivity included in them.
Yeah, our roots are so strong. I mean, we should be proud of that. And
Daiva
I
kutum-
believe in, yeah,
Again, this what we're reading now about sattvic, rajasic, tamasic is not to denigrate anyone or even ourselves. It is only again just an awareness. Oh, this is what is happening right now. It's just for our awareness and to move forward, not to get stuck or say, oh, and we might end up having judgments about ourselves and others and label ourselves and others. This is certainly not for labeling. It is only for being aware and moving up. Keep moving. Keep that with that prayer, with that resolve, and with an attitude of surrender. In case sometimes there are some habits maybe that we're not able to come out of, then um, with a prayerful attitude and then with an attitude of surrender, I think we need to just out of love get out of those habits and move up.
Yeah, I mean, again, here, like you said, tamasic person is not going to stay tamasic forever, right? I mean, it just obviously that sleepiness is out of fear, and then the sorrow and the depression, those kind of things definitely make somebody to inactive for some time, but they have to come out by themselves, or with the help of people around them. And once they know what it is, then they should move on to Rajasic and Sattvic. I mean, that's how people kind of even us, like you said, like I was even thinking about it. Am I Rajasic or Tamasic, all these things? Yeah,
Uddare
it's not
Tapmana.
all day. Yeah, all day we are not in one kind of guna. It's a combination of stuff. But more and more we learn this knowledge. I think we kind of want to move up to Sattvic guna, knowledge, triti, and what else, all that to be in that aspect. So I think it's good to know what it is so that we, and also if we see somebody around who is really sad, who is really depressed, to see they can come out of it, to like prayers or doing some religious stuff versus like, or like you said, moving up to some kind of an activity that would get them out of that that problem.
You rightly said this. You know what Guruji recently said? He's been saying this. She said, you should not go past any person who is sad or remorse without making an effort to uplift him. Do something to uplift them all around. Look around. And that is what is the waves of happiness that he has created over the years. And we emulate that.
I just wanted to share one thing. Yesterday, one of the family, just close one, she's in 9th standard. She came yesterday with her mother, and she's having those anxiety, panic attacks. She's just come in 9th, just now in April. And she's having anxiety, and it is not that she's not good in sports or games, but I was just thinking, like, what has changed so that the children in 9th standard are having anxiety, and she had panic attack in school. So what I like, after talking to her, what I figured out is that they are mostly on the laptops, because during the COVID days, all the study was going on laptop. So her mother says that she, after waking up and get like eating and doing basic work at whatever, like are they bathing, eating, etc., she's always on laptop. And what she says that I have so much of work to do. So there is lot of work to is done in school, and they give so much homework. So if I don't do, how will I finish my work in time? So I was just like, how can class 9 standard be so uh, having so much of this thing, schoolwork, that she is always on laptop, and she was asking, when will I get my phone? So it is very difficult to explain them. And this is the reason, because the screen time is more. The children of today's generation, they are getting this anxiety and depression more and more. It is increasing. Rather, I feel an epidemic will come of this anxiety and depression, because this total
It is there
lifestyle has changed.
already. You see, like more teenagers are committing suicide, and
Yeah.
not only the study problem, it's also the social issues among the peers and stuff like that. But
Yeah, so I
that
was
is
a bit like, I was just comparing ourselves, and that the history she was giving. Like, she say, I want to sit alone in my room. I want to. I have so much to do on laptop, and I like reading books. But still at this age, sitting alone in a room. It's
This
like
is an
it's a bit,
example of tamas, no? They're
yeah,
only
that
indulging in their
after
sense organ.
reading this, after reading this, I just had the thought yesterday what talk I had with her. So it is all tamasic. That is why I questioned that how to take that person out of tamas.
Yeah.
So I
Didi,
think that
is
only the
Just let
sattvic
them come
practices.
out. Yeah, please
Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, just I thought that the sattvic practices, like you said, the sanskar, but to motivate them for that programs, or how will they follow your instructions?
That, yeah.
This,
As
So
a professional, you can, first of all, it's kind of unavoidable for those kids who is in school, but then its parents also has to take some initiative, or the teachers. I don't know, however it has to come from. As a professional, I would
yeah, it's
recommend
a
in terms
difficult
of my
situation.
own patient. Yeah, if I
Yeah.
see my patient or computer, working in a software IT, I tell them, please be conscious about how you're sitting in front of computer. Take your eyes off of it and try to get up and move around and go and talk to people. And even sitting, and you can do some exercises, stretch your neck and back and arm and everything. So there is
The
some
only
activity involved, but then you limit this thing, to yourself, unless first of all we kind of make them aware of their own health is so important than this money and all that job. But as a doctor, you can only tell them that, I always tell them, listen, I'm the only person who will tell you this, because, who is going to tell in that manner, like to pay attention to them. Some people do come out of it.
Didi, they
You
could
know,
go in for some hobby. I think we can encourage them, and also thyroid levels need to be checked for these children, because it happened to my child also, and thyroid levels were high.
she had
yeah,
all the tests. She brought all the tests from A to Z. She had all LFT, KFT, hemogram, vitamin D, B12, thyroid. Everything was done. Only a little bit of B12 was deficient. Otherwise, everything was normal.
That
And
was nice, Didi. Yeah, I think
yeah,
we can guide them to do as a doctor. Maybe you all can guide them as a doctor. Maybe they will take it as a prescription to do Utkarsh Yoga or Medha Yoga, wherein, within 3 days, 4 days, they start breathing exercises, and it might help. It will help a lot, actually. And they
yeah,
can
it
take
will
some
help.
hobby.
diet
Parents can take them
diet is
some
also
hobby.
important.
it is very
Yeah, sorry,
coincidental that we're actually doing this program for the International Yoga Day. I know we're deviating a bit, but then since the whole discussion is about screen time, it just occurred to me that just rather than just doing a yoga session for children, it's I coined this term DDDY, which is digital detox, diet, dental hygiene, and included posture in that, and then yoga. It is because as a pediatrician, I've noticed that number one, children are into a lot of screen addiction. Second, they have uh, very poor diet. Third, dental hygiene is like absolutely, not everyone, but then most of the children can do with a lot more dental hygiene and posture. It's pathetic to see how they sit. It's so it brings down their self-esteem and their self-confidence so much. Just the posture, if they can correct, makes a big world of difference. So I'll actually made a PowerPoint on this, and we've dealt with one school. It was a Christian school. They wanted a session, and the children took it really very well. So today we're having another session in another school. So I think this is, um, creating awareness and including yoga in that. So when I talk to them, I will tell them that, I've told them last time also, when you do yoga regularly, it will alter your your tastes, your preferences, rather than go for a packet of chips. And this is actually research proven. Regular bit of yoga will move your taste preferences from junk food to healthier food. So just that one step they need do. And we're planning on having a yogathon end of the month. So they're all going to be taught Surya Namaskar. So these small little steps will help in getting them out. And like Sumaji rightly mentioned, it's not just talking to them about effects of addiction, screen addiction. They have to pay attention to their diet and creating
Yesterday,
awareness, education. This is the way forward.
Please send me that
I
PowerPoint,
will send it. Yeah,
Ramaraji.
I'll post it in the group. So any of you who are article teachers or school teachers, for instance, please make use of this PowerPoint. And it's not all comprehensive. I just put things together because it was time bound. Please do. You can. I'll be happy to share it.
Jai Gurudev. Gurudev has given very nice ideas how to bring them to such a environment. So if anyone has access to the TRM details or means whatever Gurudev has given in a teachers group, go through it. It's very important. We just can't bring them or teach them. We have to go with their mindset, what they like and what not. Maybe it is the food or whatever in good um, suppose they are in good computers, so we have to arrange some exercises or competitions for them, so they will come to in this stream, in this sattvic environment. They will choose themselves then.
Where is this resources? Where is it available?
Yesterday someone has posted it in the teachers group, so I got
Can you share it,
in the
please?
yeah, I
Yeah,
will
I
share
think,
to you.
yeah, whoever is teachers can, amongst us, or the teachers can
Yeah,
message
only teach.
Karlaji.
Yeah, yeah.
So then
Yeah,
they
I
can
will
be
send to
given
you.
separately.
I will send to you.
Yeah.
I am a teacher as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can maybe put up in the group whoever wants it, and then they can personally be sent these messages. So that will be taken care of.
Yeah, sure.
So it is our responsibility, like Belaji rightly said. See, otherwise Gurudev would not have taken up this responsibility. He's already, and like he could have said, and he says that also. People come and ask him, told him, if people want you, they will come to you. He said, no, there are people out there who need me. He is showing the way every moment, every step he takes. He's guiding us, showing us the way. We just have to emulate that.
Yeah, thank you for all the inputs.
No, therefore, it is very, very necessary to read biographies of saints, that we read many times earlier times. So we know, say earlier, they used to write this charitra of gurus and all that, which shows the way how to act in the world. So if we go to the Guruji's words and Guruji's lifetime, how he is doing every moment, so we know how to move forward.
This is a sattvic mind, no? That sattvic mind will only go to those stories, those biographies.
Yeah.
If you ask
Also, the
tamasic,
Mahabharata
she
and
reads the
Ramayana.
mystery. She reads mystery and horror and all. So
Well,
totally
even
reverse
I
of.
grew up reading all of that. I think that's the age, but there are few people. I have one of my the students who did the yes. He is only 13, barely 13, and he reads all of Gurudev's. He follows Gurudev on YouTube. So it also depends on their samskaras, no? So we cannot renounce and say, okay, you have to follow only this. Let them have a balance. They also
And I
have to
think
live
the
in this world.
parents also would have to discipline themselves, I think,
Yeah.
so that they can become role model for the children.
Correct.
No,
Just
that what
telling the
has
children
happened to
will not
us.
work. Yeah.
No, that has
Yeah.
what happened to us in every Shravan Masa. No, my father used to read Siddhartha Swami's Charitra the whole month, and with all devotion and all that. So when he reads, we should all sit together and he reads. The whole month we used to read that Charitra every year. So small things, just go into our mind, and that blossoming happens. So it has to come from the family level only, parenting itself.
Hariom, Sureshji, but in today's time, when parents are different, separate, when the children are separate, it is everybody's responsibility. That's what I have realized for the past 2 or 3 years. It is not that only family is a unit where this teaching can be done. It has to be now extended to everybody, each individual, whoever is aware. We should take up this responsibility because
Yeah,
parents do not have time
I
nowadays.
agree with you. No, I agree with you, but it has to start from parents also. Many
The
children,
childhood
they
period should be with parents' discipline. Yeah.
yes, no, the children, they follow the elders. They copy.
It is
They-
parents, teachers.
Mm.
Teachers are the second parents because the children spend a good amount of time in school. So teachers are also important. That is why the art of living, I'm so, amazed at how many ways Gurudev is trying to bring this knowledge in. We have this beautiful stress-free teaching. I think those of us who are Art Excel, yes, teachers would be aware of this. Stress-free teaching is about creating stress-free teachers so that they can teach in a state of happiness, and children also look up to teachers next to parents. In fact, as a child, I would look up more to my teacher. Whatever the teacher said is important. I would not, if there was a sum to be done, this is the way it has to be done. If my father is talking in a different way, I would say, no, this is how it has to be done. So they depend upon the teachers and they look up to teachers so much. So creating role models of teachers is also so important. And of course, all after school activity. It depends on what after school activity. I think any activity is good to begin with. But if you can also guide them into some spiritual related, like once a week, twice a week at least, the Sanskar Kendra and Bal Vihar, we're just planting those little seeds there. So they sprout later. Yeah. Maybe we can move ahead.
Yeah.
If we've done Manana, unless anybody else wants to add anything in this. So I think that's the way forward to bring tamas out. Not just in others, even in us. Sometimes we feel lazy. So we just have to reflect and see, hey, what is happening? So just get up and go. Do some activity. Shake off that.
Very wonderful. May I request somebody? I can read for another 5-6 minutes. Sumaji or Mrinalji or somebody can take over. I can read for another 5-10 minutes. Are you okay, Sumaji?
I can take it up, Bella. If
Yeah.
5 minutes, yeah, I will be able to do it. Okay.
No problem. Thank you. So we were looking at Tamasa Dhriti, and the last paragraph was remaining. I'll just read. This is also the Dhriti of a person who makes light the achievements of other people while inflating his own. Because he is intoxicated by vanity, fighting his own inferiority complex, he puts on a superior air. Otherwise, he has to face himself, and that is very painful. When he sleeps too much and has fear, bhaya, sorrow, shuka, and depression, vishada, what kind of self-opinion will he have? How is he going to avoid an inferiority complex? It is impossible. But how does he fight that complex? By dismissing the whole world that appears in the form of an air of superiority, which means he has no way of learning. Therefore, we say he does not give up his intoxication. Madam na vimunchati. If he would listen to somebody, he might change. Because of Mada, the fellow cannot bend down to anybody. This arrogance is the expression of his ignorance. And when he thinks, his thinking is not proper. He is durmedha. This resolve of a person whose thinking is distorted is called tamasi triti. Threefold division of happiness. Thus, the various activities, karma, and their accessories, the doer, knowledge, mind, and resolve, karta, jnana, buddhi, and dhriti have been shown to be threefold based upon the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. I read once again, threefold division of happiness. Thus, the various activities, karma, and their accessories, the doer, knowledge, mind, and resolve, karta, jnana, buddhi, and dhriti have been shown to be threefold based upon the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. The sukha, pleasure or joy that you get out of various actions can also be threefold, depending on how you got it, how long it lasts, and the degree and nature of the sukha. All of this determine whether the sukha is sattvika, rajasa, or tamasa. So, after talking about the threefold karta, jnana, buddhi, and dhriti, now threefold happiness. सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ अभ्यासाद्रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति यतदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम्. Bharatarshava, O Arjuna, idani tu. Now, Trividham Sukham, about threefold happiness, me shrunu, listen to me. Yatra, in which, Abhyasat, by repetition, Ramate, one discovers joy, Dukhantam cha, and the end of sorrow, Nigachati, one gains, yat tat, that which, agre in the beginning, visham eva, like poison, pariname, when there is transformation, amruta upamam, is like nectar, atma buddhi prasadajam, born of the clarity of self-knowledge, tat sukham, that happiness, Satvikam Proktam is called Satvika. Bharatarshaba Idanim.
Gurudev Bela, I can take over.
Yeah, Dhanyavad.
The 37th verse, right? Okay, I'll just chant these verses again if you allow me to. Sukham tvidanim trividham शृणु मे भरतर्षभा अभ्यासाद् रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति यत्तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम्. Bela's already read this one. I will just do the Sanskrit word shloka. Bharatarshava idanim tu trividham sukham me shrunu yatra abhyasat ramate dukkhantam nigacchati yat tat agre visham iva pariname amrita upamam atma buddhi prasadajam tat sukham satvikam proktam. Listen to me now, Arjuna, about the threefold happiness, that in which one discovers joy by repetition and gains the end of sorrow, which in the beginning is like poison, and when there is transformation is like nectar. That happiness is called Satvika, born of the clarity of self-knowledge. Is my voice clear, or is there any disturbance?
Voice
No,
is
it's
okay, but
ma'am.
page.
Yeah. Satvika happiness. Just one second.
Can you read that meaning again? That whole shloka's meaning.
Listen to me now. See, Krishna, when he says listen, that shrunu means you have to like full attention. Listen to me now, Arjuna, about the threefold happiness, that in which one discovers joy by repetition and gains the end of sorrow, which in the beginning is like poison. When there is transformation, is like nectar. That happiness is called Satvika, born of the clarity of self-knowledge. Satvika happiness. Arjuna is addressed as Bharatarshabha, the one who is the most exalted in the family of Bharata. The word tu is used to indicate a new topic. Now, Idanim, Lord Krishna says, listen to me, drawing Arjuna's attention to the new topic of the threefold happiness, Trividham Sukham. The Satvikam Sukham is that in which one revels in by practice. Abhyasat ramate yatra. The joy that one discovers by the repeated practice of Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana is Satvikam Sukham. In all these, a certain repetition is involved, and that repetition brings not boredom, but a sukha, a Satvikam Sukham. And it is not discovery of a joy which will be lost in time, but one in which one gains a resolution of sorrow that is centered on the Atma. Dukkhantam nigacchati. There is no sadness without the Atma, because in every sense of sorrow there is I. And as this I is released from the various notions that give rise to a sense of sorrow, the sorrow comes to an end by recognizing that the nature of oneself is sukha. I will read this paragraph again. The Satvikam Sukham is that in which one revels in by practice. Abhyasat ramate yatra. The joy that one discovers by the repeated practice of Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana is Satvikam Sukham. In all these, a certain repetition is involved, and that repetition brings not boredom, but a sukha, a Satvikam Sukham. And it is not discovery of a joy which will be lost in time, but in which one gains a resolution of sorrow that is centered on the Atma. Dukkhantam nigacchati. There is no sadness without the Atma, because in every sense of sorrow, there is I. And as this I is released from the various notions that give rise to a sense of sorrow, the sorrow comes to an end by recognizing that the nature of oneself is sukha. So it is not,
Just one
you're
thing,
not
yeah.
creating sukha, you're only removing those that cause dukkha. You're only removing the impurities by knowledge.
And also the I, when you release the I, so that it implies that if you go into seva, then
Yeah.
that sense of sorrow naturally it disappears. No?
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
That is why the seva is promoted so much,
Mm.
especially for the patients of depression or these anxiety. And this line of repetition does not bring boredom. This is already like we want to repeat these verses, and every time when we read these verses, you get that sukha, that joy.
Isn't it? So
Yeah.
initially it seems a little difficult. Oh, I have to sit here for 1.5 hours. So that's what we'll come to later in this. So initially it seems like Vishamiva, but Pariname Amritopamam. Same thing is translates, it echoes in what Patanjali says about Satvika Sukha. The pursuit of Satvika happiness may be painful in the beginning. The beginning of a Sukha, which is Satvika, is said here to be like poison, Vishamiva. When a person begins this pursuit of self-knowledge, which is moksha, he finds it difficult because he is beginning to address himself. Prior to beginning his pursuit, he kept himself busy doing one thing or the other, which always brought him some gratification. When you gratify yourself with various things, you do not see the pain which drives you to search for gratification. That is why when you begin to turn your attention towards yourself, you always feel you were better off before. But that is not true. If you were better, what is wrong now? After all, you are still yourself. That has not changed. In fact, you were not better. You were just not addressing your problems. Now, when you turn your attention towards yourself, all the sorrows you never gave a thought to, the thoughts you never even thought you had, all come up because you are addressing them. It is like poison in the beginning because you require vairagya, maturity, dispassion, objectivity, understanding your mind, etc., as it is, and dropping all of the past in handling all these that come up. All these things are not ordinary. They require a lot of self-searching, which is not easy. It is a painful process. Therefore, in the beginning, a spiritual pursuit is fraught with pain. No spiritual seeker underwent a spell of seeking without some kind of pain. That pain is likened to poison, which tastes vile and seems as though it is going to destroy you. You do not want to take it, but we have to gain knowledge, dispassion, and a capacity to contemplate, for which a lot of effort is required in the beginning, and therefore it is painful. Then again, we have to follow values, which is difficult initially, but then it becomes natural. And becoming a vegetarian can be another problem. Everything is different. Getting up early in the morning, attending the classes, and then there is no progress in the subject matter. The first day the Swami said you are Brahman, and after 300 classes, he says the same thing. If you stay with me for 12 years, I will be saying the same thing. Only titles and verses change, but the content is the same. And this study also implies sitting with yourself in meditation. That is all right for 5 or 10 minutes. But suppose you have to sit for 1 or 2 hours, it is a problem. And so we say in the beginning, it is like a poison. But once you have come to terms with yourself and are happy with yourself as you are and have learned to live a disciplined life, there is maturity. You have taken care of your emotions, let go of the past, and can just be with yourself as you are. When whatever is to be done has been taken care of, what happens? On transformation, it is like nectar. Pariname, when there is this change in the antakarana, there is a happiness which Shankara says is born of maturity in terms of understanding, dispassion, and so on. This dispassion, vairagya, is not a will-based denial, but a natural objectivity born of understanding. The happiness, sukha, that is born of that maturity is like nectar, amritopama. Nectar, amrita, is something associated with heaven that we have only heard about in the Shastra but have not seen. This is an unusual example. How can something which we do not know at all serve as an example? Though, like most examples, it is not something seen before, drishta purva, still it has been heard of before, shruta purva. Only occasionally is an illustration used in this way. There is a lot of description about Amrita in the Puranas, where it is presented as a kind of milk. If you even take a little of it, you become immortal. If this is literal, then nectar can alone be, then nectar can only be knowledge, jnana. If this is literal, that nectar can only be knowledge, jnana. This sattvikam sukham is equivalent to nectar, amrita, because it immortalizes you. It never goes away because it is atma buddhi prasadaja, born of the clarity of knowledge of the atma, which is free from time. If it is born of an object, it will definitely go away in time. Atma buddhi means a mind which has knowledge of the atma. And because of the atma buddhi, there is a prasada, a clarity like that of pure, placid water, which is so clear that you can see the sand and all the pebbles of different colors on the bottom, which are somehow not so colorful when they are dry. This is the purity of the antakarana. So too, it is like the water that flows, finding its way no matter what comes in its path, not resisting anything. Even if there is a big stone in the way, the water goes around it. And if there is a big valley, it just fills it up and proceeds. It does not bother about what is in front, but keeps going, never being caught up anywhere. The purity, the fluidity of this water is such that it lives a life of absolute non-resistance. A mind with this kind of purity does not resist anything, even itself. It has the attitude, whatever it is all right. Let it be so. That is Atma Buddhi Prasada, the glad acceptance of whatever is. Self-knowledge itself is the prasada, the blessing, and the sukha that arises from that is not dependent upon any object or even a condition of the mind, because it is knowledge, jnana. All that is necessary for that jnana has been taken care of, which is why in the beginning it is said to be like poison, vishamiva. Later, however, after the change in the antakarana has taken place, it is like nectar, amritopama. That sukha, in terms of the mind, is called sattvika, because the predominance of sattva guna in the antakarana is responsible for it.
Could you please read it once again?
Yeah, I will read this once again. I thought I will read Rajas and Tamas, and then tomorrow we can do the whole thing again. So we have an idea of what this Rajasic, Sattvic, and Tamasic is, but I will read the Sattvic again. So I did this part. So the pursuit of Sattvika happiness may be painful in the beginning. The beginning of a Sukha, which is Sattvika, is said here to be like poison, Vishamiva. When a person begins this pursuit of self-knowledge, which is moksha, he finds it difficult because he is beginning to address himself. Swamiji said this in the introduction also to the Gita. He said, People, you're now the mirror. Till now, you were only looking at the world. But right now, when you take the moksha marga, you have the opportunity to look at your own self, your own um, deficiencies. So that becomes difficult. Prior to beginning his pursuit, he kept himself busy doing one thing or the other, which always brought him some gratification. When you gratify yourself with various things, you do not see the pain, which drives you to search for gratification. That is why when you begin to turn your attention towards yourself, you always feel you were better off before. But that is not true. If you were better, what is wrong now? After all, you are still yourself. That has not changed. In fact, if you are not better, you are just not addressing your problems. Now, when you turn your attention towards yourself, all the sorrows you never gave a thought to, the thoughts you never even thought you had, all come up because you are addressing them. See, this is the processing that we have to do. This is what Swami Chinmayananda had mentioned. He said you must have the courage to look at yourself and process your emotions, process your thoughts, rather than just take up another self-gratifying activity. I'm not against singing about getting your mind distracted for a while and then coming back to processing it. But without processing it, just distracting your mind and feeling that you're uplifted is not the way forward, because that unprocessed thoughts, unprocessed patterns will continue within. That rasa will still be there. In order to remove even that rasa that from inside, we will have to look at ourselves with that fearlessness. We should have that courage to look at our own selves and say, yes, this is what I am. And I really appreciate what Sumaji shared a few classes ago. She shared her inner feelings. And that is I think, first step towards processing your inner thoughts, the thoughts inside. So it is like poison in the beginning because you require vairagya, maturity, dispassion, objectivity, understanding your mind, etc., as it is, and dropping all of the past in handling all these that come up. All these things are not ordinary. They require a lot of self-searching, which is not easy. It is a painful process. Therefore, in the beginning, a spiritual pursuit is fraught with pain. No spiritual seeker underwent a spell of seeking without some kind of pain. That pain is likened to poison, which tastes vile and seems as though it is going to destroy you. You do not want to take it, but we have to gain knowledge, dispassion, and a capacity to contemplate, for which a lot of effort is required in the beginning, and therefore it is painful. Then again, we have to follow values, which is difficult initially, but then it becomes natural. If you remember a few verses ago, following the world or adharma seems natural. It seems like a natural tendency, but getting back on track and having the value of the value, that becomes a little difficult. But then as you keep doing it, that becomes natural. Like how Gurudev is, he says, it's my nature. People ask him, don't you get angry? He said, no, that's not in my nature. It's so natural for him. Getting up early in the morning, attending the classes, and then there is no progress in the subject matter. I think all of us are going through this. We think, oh, when did we do this? You know, although we have come somewhere, I don't think we should completely negate that. The first day, the Swami said, you are Brahman. And after 300 classes, he says the same thing. Your Swamiji is, I think, addressing his shishyas there. If you stay with me for 12 years, I will be saying the same thing. Only titles and verses change, but the content is the same. And this study also implies sitting with yourself in meditation. That is all right for 5 or 10 minutes. But suppose you have to sit for 1 or 2 hours, it is a problem. And so we say in the beginning, it is like a poison. But once you have come to terms with yourself and are happy with yourself as you are, and have learned to live a disciplined life, there is maturity. You have taken care of your emotions, let go of the past, and can just be with yourself as you are. When whatever is to be done has been taken care of, what happens? So these words are important and these things are important. So we are living a disciplined life, and you've come to terms with yourself. You have accepted yourself totally as you are, and you have dropped the past. Then there is maturity. And
You
you've
know,
also
Gurudev is telling so from so long all the knowledge, but now we can relate. So we have become a refined version of ourselves after so many years. And we were listening, but the depth is now coming.
Mm. See, you've
So
taken care of
sweet.
your emotions. Mm. So when whatever is to be done has been taken care of, what happens on transformation? It is like nectar. Pariname, when there is this change, when there is this change in the antakarana, there is a happiness which Shankara says is born of maturity in terms of understanding, dispassion, and so on. This dispassion, vairagya, is not a will-based denial. It's not like you're mandating upon yourself, I will not eat, but it's coming out of understanding. If I fast, it's part of the tapas I'm doing, rather than I'm just talking of fasting. But the same thing with anything else. Vairagya with respect to uh, maybe watching a movie, for instance, or even indulging in some sense pleasures. So that vairagya is not will based. It is but a natural objectivity born of understanding. So when it's come out of understanding, it will sustain more rather than if it's will based, then once the will is weakened a bit, it will dissolve. It'll dilute itself. The happiness sukha that is born of that maturity is like nectar, amritopama. Nectar, amrita, is something associated with heaven that we have only heard about in the Shastra but have not seen. This is an unusual example. How can something which we do not know at all serve as an example? Though, like most examples, it is not something seen before, Drishta Purva, still it has been heard of before, Shruta Purva. Only occasionally is an illustration used in this way. There is a lot of description about Amrita in the Puranas, where it is presented as a kind of milk. If you even take even a little of it, you become immortal. If this is literal, that nectar can only be knowledge, jnana. So even if you taste a little bit of this nectar, you will be immortal, which is again, we're remembering Gurudev so much today. He says, once you're on this path, feel rest assured, you are taken care of. So just stepping up onto the path, that one step we have to do. This Satvikam Sukham is equivalent to nectar, Amrita, because it immortalizes you. It never goes away because it is Atma Buddhi Prasadaja, born of the clarity of knowledge of the Atma, which is free from time. So it's immortal. Why? Because it is timeless, because you are exposed to the Atma Buddhi Prasadaja, which is free from time. If it is born of an object, it will definitely go away in time. Atma Buddhi means a mind which has knowledge of the Atma. And because of the Atma Buddhi, there is a prasada, a clarity like that of pure, placid water, which is so clear that you can see the sand and all the pebbles of different colors on the bottom, which are somehow not so colorful when they are dry. This is the purity of the Antakarana. So too, it is like the water that flows. So there are two aspects Swamiji is describing here of the Satvika Sukham. One is it's born of Atma Buddhi Prasadaja. That is, it's so crystal clear, that clarity. And the second, it is free flowing. It is like water that flows, finding its way no matter what comes in its path, not resisting anything. Even if there is a big stone in the way, the water goes around it. And if there is a big valley, it just fills it up and proceeds. It does not bother about what is in front, but keeps going, never being caught up anywhere. The purity, the fluidity of this water is such that it lives a life of absolute non-resistance. A mind with this kind of purity does not resist anything, even itself. It has the attitude, whatever it is all right. Let it be so. That is Atma Buddhi Prasada, the glad acceptance of whatever is. Self-knowledge itself is the prasada, the blessing, and the sukha that arises from that is not dependent upon any object or even a condition of the mind, because it is knowledge, jnana. All that is necessary for that jnana has been taken care of, which is why in the beginning it is said to be like poison, vishameva. Later, however, after the change in Antakarana has taken place, it is like nectar, amritopama. That sukha in terms of the mind is called satvika because the predominance of sattva guna in the Antakarana is responsible for it. I think we'll stop here. And we'll take up Manana of the Satvika Sukha tomorrow before we get on to the Rajasika Sukha. Rajasikam Sukha. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you, Jai Gita.
Play Maya Panchakam.
निरुपमनित्यनिरंशकेऽप्यखण्डे मयि चिति सर्वविकल्पनादिशून्ये घटयति जगदीश जीवभेदम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया श्रुतिशतनिगमान्तशोधकानपि अहह धनादिनिदर्शनेन सद्यः कलुषयति चतुष्पदाद्यभिन्ना न घटितघटना पडीयसी माया सुखचिदखण्डविबोधमद्वितीयम् वियदनलादिविनिर्मित्ते नियोज्य भ्रमयति भवसागरे नितान्तम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया अपगतगुणवर्णजातिभेदे सुखचितिविप्रविडाद्यहङ्कृतिं च स्फुटयति सुतदारकेहमोहम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया विधिहरिहरविभेदमप्यखण्डे बत विरचय्य बुधानपि प्रकामम् भ्रमयति हरिहरविभेदभावान् घटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया